Honorable Member for Madura. We shall have contribution from the Honorable Wamuchomba, Member for Kiambu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Indeed, I've waited for a while because I felt that I have the duty to give my voice into the making of this bill so that we can have our farmers benefit from the very hard-earned money that comes from tea. This bill is creating an avenue into the creation of the Regulatory Tea Authority of Kenya. The word regulatory really makes me feel like we are going round circles because it's not the first time we have started regulating cash crops. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I would ask you to allow me to say this because it is the truth. The government is not known to be the best trader. And every cash crop the government puts its tentacles in the attempt to trade, that cash crops trade trends changes, and the changes affects the farmers. Look at coffee. Look at pyrethrum. Look at sugar. Look at cotton. Keep looking at the cash crops which the government has attempted to do trade, to regulate trade. The government is not the champion when it comes to trade matters. And therefore, every time we come into this house in attempt to creation of boards, authorities, task forces, and such like infrastructure or frameworks to help the farmers improve their revenues and earnings, we get it wrong. By the way, I don't know why, Mr. Speaker, we assume that our farmers are illiterate to the extent that they cannot be able to manage their own trade in terms of their cash crops. Like Honorable Gojiri said, these farmers take their own initiative to go to their farms, they plant, they use the knowledge to farm, they produce. Why do we assume that they do not have the knowledge to manage their own trade? Now, when I look at this bill, I'm not so sure whether I want to support it or to oppose it. Because as I read it yesterday, and I've tried to assimilate it today, this proposal is not answering questions that I would want answered on behalf of the farmers of Kiambu. Mr. Speaker, let's ask ourselves, what are the issues that make the farmer go home empty-handed after rising up at 3 a.m. to go and pick tea in their farms under the sunshine and under the rainfall? In the past, the many authorities and the many boards that have been created have installed a lot of levies to the farmers. In the past, Kenyan farmers, especially farmers that are involved in tea farming, have lost money to the government agencies through what they call marketing licenses, marketing agency fees, corporate taxes, market research levy, county government cess, and many other deductions like advances for fertilizers, advances for inputs, farming inputs, that when they do their mathematics, they end up earning very little. So I am asking, as a lawmaker, we are proposing to have a new regulator away from AFA. Are we removing all those levies that in the past have been deducted from farmers' income? Are we improving in the support of farming practices, what we call the good agricultural practices? Are we increasing our investment in terms of adding more agricultural extension officers to help farmers to improve their quality of tea? What is this that we are doing? Now, look at this regulatory tea authority that we are proposing. Are we going to improve efficiencies in the way we have been handling tea from the farm all the way to the factory and to the auction? Are we going to change the way we have been auctioning our tea? Are we going to provide the farmers with more information about how their tea is being auctioned? There are so many questions, Mr. Speaker, sir, that I would want answered as we debate around this tea bill. And therefore, as we seek to liberalize the tea industry in Kenya, I would suggest that as we make this bill into law, we introduce these many amendments that are going to seek to answer the questions I have asked on behalf of the farmers. But it is very sad for me to note, Mr. Speaker, sir, that most of the farmers, especially those that come from my county, Kiambu, in the areas of Gatundu, areas of Gatundu North, areas of Lari, areas of Limuru, these are farmers that are sometimes going hungry, yet they have acres and acres of tea in their farms. Do you know why? Because when they sell their tea from the buying centers, they wait for months and months to get their payment. And when they get their payment, like I had mentioned, Mr. Speaker, they have lost such a lot of money from those levies that I've mentioned. And when they decide to take a shortcut, Mr. Speaker, sir, and sell their tea at the farm, what we call the farm gate sales, they are seriously harassed by the authorities. Some of them are arrested. Others sell their tea at a throwaway price because the brokers take advantage. And at the end of the day, the farmers are languishing in poverty and lack. And so, in my contribution today, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would suggest that as we proceed in debating this bill, we recommend that we have amendments that are going to assist us to answer those questions on behalf of the farmer. Otherwise, I am excited that finally the debate around tea has landed this honorable house. And I'm excited because I know quite a number of members in the House, even those that do not come from the tea farming areas, feel the pain of the tea farmer in Kenya and would want to see changes in the way we practice the farming, the packaging, the vending, the selling and the auctioning of tea in Kenya. Otherwise, I do support the bill because I know at the end of the day, with the very many amendments the members have suggested, we are headed to the right direction. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Very well spoken, the Honorable Wamuchomba, and it is hoped that your excitement will lead to the production of a good child, a good tea bill that will be useful to the farmers of tea in this country.